Have you ever been stuck with an error message that just doesn't make sense? It can be incredibly frustrating, especially when you're trying to run your code. If you're facing the error that says, fetch argument cannot be interpreted as a tensor, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to unravel this issue together. I totally understand how you feel. You write your test code, and suddenly an error pops up, leaving you scratching your head. You're not alone in this. Many developers encounter similar issues when working with TensorFlow. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user recently asked, "Why am I getting the error that says fetch argument cannot be interpreted as a tensor?" They provided their code, and it seems like something is going wrong during the execution. Sound familiar? Let's break it down. So, what does this error mean? Essentially, it indicates that TensorFlow is trying to fetch a tensor that isn't part of the current computation graph. This can happen for a few reasons, such as using tensors from a different session or graph. Let's explore how to fix this. And stick around. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how to fix this error, but also gain insights into best practices for working with TensorFlow. To address the issue, the user should first ensure that the TensorFlow graph is correctly set up. The error indicates that the tensor being fetched is not part of the current graph. This can happen if the tensor was created in a different graph context. Next, the user should verify that the placeholders for the image and label are correctly defined within the same graph context. This means that both the placeholders and the tensors being fetched must belong to the same graph. Then the user should check the session where the tensors are being run. The session must be created within the same graph context where the tensors were defined. This ensures that the tensors can be fetched correctly. Finally, the user should ensure that the model checkpoint is correctly restored. If the checkpoint is not found, it could lead to issues with fetching tensors. The user should check the path and ensure the model is saved correctly. Fun fact, did you know that TensorFlow was originally developed by researchers and engineers from the Google Brain team? It's come a long way since then, and so have the challenges we face. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user points out that the error arises because the graph created in the test function is different from the one where the placeholders test_x and test_y were defined. They suggest a simple fix: create the graph in the main function instead. Here's a pro tip: always keep your TensorFlow code organized and modular. This will help you avoid these kinds of errors and make debugging much easier. And there you have it. With these steps, you should be able to resolve the fetch argument cannot be interpreted as a tensor error. Remember, coding is a journey, and every error is just a stepping stone to becoming a better developer. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips.